Don Sommerfeld for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Thank you.
Larry Brown on behalf of Ms. Genisa.
Donna Hansel on behalf of the minor children.
David Delaney, counsel for Douglas Caldwell.
Thank you.
And my name is Julie Delaney, Delaney.
And how are you employed?
I'm a services specialist with the Department of Health and Human Services for Otsego County.
Okay, and are you familiar with Micah and Aurora Caldwell?
Yes, I am.
All right, and the document that was identified by the court and admitted into evidence, are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am. Can I speak to that for a second, Mr. Sommerfeld?
Sure.
I want to apologize to the court and all the parties if the document that you received does not look very professional. The department was having internet problems that day, and I don't know that the most recent version of my report was received. I did just re-email it, but I will testify to correct any omissions or errors, so I apologize.
So, first of all, has the department had any contact with Douglas Caldwell?
No, and the court did order the department to attempt to make efforts at the last hearing. And with respect to that, we also had a new investigation. And when there's a new investigation, we have to follow the absent parent protocol. So I did so and made efforts to locate Douglas Caldwell. I was unable to do so.
Okay, and I just looked on the petition. The original petition said unknown location in Georgia. Are we still kind of looking towards that area of the country?
Somewhat. The most recent information is perhaps he returned to Florida. So I did a Vine link search. I contacted Florida's version of our department. I spoke with Heaven, who also believed that maybe he had relocated to Florida. I did a Facebook search, internet search. We found one phone number. I did attempt to call him and write him at his last known address.
Okay. So we had a dispositional hearing and the court ordered mom to participate in counseling at the Women's Resource Center. And your report indicates that mom has gone there. Maybe I just don't know how many times, and maybe that's something you can clarify verbally today with the issue.
It is one of the, sorry, I apologize.
No, please answer.
It is, and I apologize. That is one of the errors or omissions from the report that was submitted versus the most recent version of the report. Heaven has attended the Women's Resource Center on at least 3 occasions, perhaps 4, because her last appointment was scheduled for the 26th.
And there were more meetings scheduled, but there were issues with weather and the transportation.
Yes, that's a fair assessment. I would like to see more consistency with Heaven at the Women's Resource Center, but in all fairness, there are transportation issues and there have been several weather-related cancellations as well.
And is Heaven, is she still involved with her husband? It was Juan Janicek.
No, to the best of my knowledge, she is not. She has not made a great deal of progress with respect to the divorce. I know that was spoken about in court last hearing. I did provide Heaven information for the free family law clinic that was recently held, but she was unable to attend because she had to work. She's also been in contact numerous times with legal aid, but I don't think they've made any progress.
All right. And then mom has also been participating in some parenting classes.
Yes, she recently attended a parenting class, if you will, that was held at the E-Free Church, sponsored by Together We Rise. The topics were very appropriate for what Heaven's going through, and I had positive feedback from both Heaven and the presenters.
So Is mom participating in the services that were ordered by the court last time?
She is. Again, we'd like to see a little bit more consistency, but there's definitely been an uptick in her engagement with respect to the services.
Okay, and then as far as, are the children, they are staying with their mother?
They are, yes.
Okay, and do you go and visit the home like once a month or at a greater frequency?
Yeah, I would say certainly more than once per month. Right now, Heaven and the children are staying at the Quality Inn. And so we do have visits there, as well as Heaven brings the children in to the department for me to see them.
Okay, from what you've seen in your in-person interaction, how would you describe the children's placement with their mother at this time?
It's appropriate. Heaven was able to get Aurora in for her medication review, and she is now on the medications as the PA prescribed. The school has seen an improvement in Aurora's behavior. I had very good reports most recently about Aurora. Micah is still waiting for his appointment. I believe it's late April, maybe the 22nd, with the same physician's assistant. But the school, Micah's on a behavioral plan. The court may recall that it was talked about last time that Micah had taken a knife to school. The school's reporting that his behavior has been much better of late. But the children do need consistent counseling.
Okay, and the children are both enrolled in school?
Yes. Aurora attends North Ohio and Micah's at Gillard Intermediate School.
Okay, and do you have any information about the progress? How are they doing in school?
Micah's somewhat segregated, so he's, in a special class. Aurora's doing better. Heaven's in frequent contact with Aurora's teacher via text. I think the pronunciation is Miss Scheiber, and Micah is also doing well.
Okay. How have you acted? Do you have any issues there?
I'm sorry, Mr. Summerfeld, you cut out in your question.
Do you have any issues of interacting with mom? I mean, how's your communication?
No, she's been very cooperative.
So are you asking to continue the goal of in-home jurisdiction at this time?
Yes.
You're also asking the court to adopt the recommendations that were listed on page 3 of your report?
I'm asking the court to continue the prior orders of the court, continue court jurisdiction, and perhaps with the discretion to the department to close prior to the next hearing if appropriate.
All right, thank you. I have nothing further.
Mr. Delaney, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Brown, questions?
I just very briefly, Ms. Delaney, are you aware of Ms. Janizek's work schedule?
I'm not exactly aware of her work schedule. I know she's employed now at the Dairy Queen.
Okay, it is my understanding she works from 11 to 8 Monday through Friday, which is a very difficult schedule, cooperating or making certain appointments with various professionals who generally aren't going to be open on the weekends, and 11 to 8, is a large chunk of time. Is that posing any kind of difficulty for her with the department at this time?
I would indicate that the last time that I spoke with Heaven, she only had 20 hours at the Dairy Queen. She did indicate that she thought that that was going to increase. So if that's her set schedule now, I was not aware of that. If that's the case, yes, I can understand that that would pose some difficulties with meeting with professionals.
Okay. But all in all, this seems like a very good report. She's doing very well. Is that a safe assessment?
She's doing much better than she had been in the past. Again, I'd like to see more consistency in her counseling. When we talk about her 11 to 8 schedule, I don't know what days of the week that is. I don't know if there are business days that she is not working. Maybe, I know Dairy Queen's open on the weekend, so maybe there's some weekdays that she's available for counseling.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Hansel, any questions for this witness?
Just to clarify, it's my understanding that appropriate daycare has been found and secured for the children while mom is at work. Is that correct?
Heather, Heaven is very close with Chrissy. Susie, as are the children, and she's been the daycare provider, if you will. She's not licensed, but she's been the babysitter of the children for a very long time. So yes.
Okay, so that's continued to go smoothly, even though the hours have changed. They
Yes.
continue to go smoothly. And it's my understanding from the mother that she has had some problems securing the divorce packet, if you will, from the court, knowing exactly how to do that. Was that something that your agency may be able to help her with?
I'm not aware that our agency specifically can assist with that. As I indicated, I really would have liked to have seen Heaven to be able to attend the Free Family Law Clinic. I understand why she couldn't. And I've, again, as I know, you have referred her to legal aid.
Okay. All right. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Ms. Delaney, as to the court's prior orders, do you think that additional parenting classes are necessary at this time?
I think it would be, Your Honor, if I may, on an as-need basis. Currently, there are so few in-person parenting classes. That was really a wonderful opportunity at the E-Free Church. The other parenting classes that we have available to us right now are all online.
Would online classes be sufficient in your estimation?
I think that they would be beneficial.
All right.
New Life Pregnancy offers them, and MSU Parenting Extension offers them.
And you
But I'm certainly
that,
looking for, sorry, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I'm certainly looking for not only Heaven, but for all of our families for additional in-person programs as they become available.
I knew that, and I appreciate that. Do you believe that she needs to continue or a little more often or a little more consistently with her counseling at the Women's Resource Center?
Yes.
All right. And is there a set end date or a set number of appointments that she would need to make, or is that just to be as determined based on how she responds?
As determined as how she responds, and I defer to the counselor at the Women's Resource Center with respect to that.
All right. Is there anything else that she is not doing at this time?
No, as I said, Micah needs his medications, but that is out of her control. She's awaiting that appointment.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you very much. Do any counsel have any questions in response to mine?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Delaney. Mr. Sommerfeld, any additional witnesses or evidence?
No, thank you.
Mr. Brown, witnesses or evidence?
No witnesses, but I would like to just ask Heaven if she could confirm her hours, as Ms. Delaney was unaware of the hours that I mentioned.
Yes, Your Honor, I do apologize for reaching out to her. We finally got my schedule set in stone from 11 to 8, Monday through Friday. Yes, they are open weekends, but I have required only Sundays to be off. So technically, as of now, I am working 6 days a week. Today was the only day basically that I was able to request it off, as I explained to them that this was kind of important and then I cannot miss anymore. And luckily my manager was really nice and understanding. And then I do also want to put up on record, because I just finally got the verification call today. We've finally been approved to do autism screenings on the children. Awers has been approved from her doctor. We are still waiting, however, for the approval on Micah's, but that's just because they're waiting for his next appointment on the 22nd.
All right, thank you very much for that information. I do appreciate it. Mr. Delaney, witnesses or evidence?
None, thank you.
Ms. Hansel, witnesses or evidence?
Well, sir,
All right. Closing statements, Mr. Sommerfeld.
Yes, Judge, I'd ask the court to continue the goal of in-home jurisdiction. Sounds like things are moving in a positive direction. As to Douglas Caldwell, I don't think we're any closer than we were at the beginning of the petition. However, you heard Ms. Delaney that she has also requested discretion. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we're asking the court to consider giving the discretion to close the case. I guess the only suggestion that I would make in that area is that maybe mom, in addition to deciding how she's going to go forward with her husband, maybe to get some type of a support order with Mr. Caldwell if the neglect and abuse case is ultimately dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
Your Honor, thank you. I think this was a good report. She seems to be doing very well. It appears that Ms. Delaney was not aware of the new schedule that she has, which it appears she is working during peak professional hours, at least 5 days a week and on Saturdays. So hopefully Ms. Janizek and Ms. Delaney can get together and kind of work something out, because I don't want her to see her miss appointments or something because of her work schedule and get set back in that regard. As far as any divorce proceedings or support orders, I really don't know what she can do with that. If the department can't really offer any help there, she may not have the finances for private attorneys. And I don't know the issue with legal aid. Generally, legal aid, I thought, would take some of these issues on, but that would be a concern too. Other than that, I have no objection with the recommendations.
Thank you. Mr. Delaney?
Without contact with a client, I have no position for the court.
Thank you. Ms. Hansel?
yes, Your Honor, I am pleased with the children's educational and medical needs being met. I have had conversations with the mother. I do believe she's very invested in trying to do what is in the best interest of her children and what's ordered by the court. And I have found, I will note, that the mother has been very cooperative with me. That's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Janizek, I have one question for you as well. It's my understanding that you're staying at the Quality Inn Hotel. Can you receive mail there so that we can send you notices in the future?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a specific room number that we should reference?
It'll be room 129, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. If that changes in the future, please let the court know, because we want to make sure that you get court documentation whenever it's appropriate to send it to you. And then I want to say thank you to you for your hard work. I appreciate your cooperative attitude. I appreciate the way that you appear to have stepped up and are taking really good care of the kids. I want to echo what Ms. Delaney said, a little more consistency with the counseling, maybe a little bit additional, looking for some of those online parenting classes kinds of things. Anything that you can do towards that, I think, will help show Ms. Delaney and the court that you can get off of the court's docket sooner rather than later. So I wanted to say thank you to you. I wanted to say good job to you, because I don't get to do that enough in my job. Often it's just gloom and doom, and things are going well for you. So I wanted to say thank you for doing that. All right, having said that, I will adopt the recommendations by Ms. Delaney. We are going to continue the court's jurisdiction. I will grant DHHS the discretion to close the case prior to the next court review if Ms. Janizek continues to do as well as she is now. I would ask Ms. Janizek to be a little more consistent with the counseling, to make all of the appointments that you possibly can. If you can work a couple more in, and I'll give you a chance to do that in just a minute, Ms. Janizek. So do ask Ms. Delaney to assist Ms. Janizek in finding some additional online parenting classes that might be appropriate for her to review. I'm pleased that she went to the one at the E-Free Church. That's always good information there. I'm going to continue the prior court requirements for the kids involving school and the counseling and parenting classes for mom, the medical things that the kids need to have done. That all sounds appropriate. We will continue the in-home jurisdiction, and we will set this for a review hearing, I believe 91 days. However, DHHS has the discretion to close the case earlier if appropriate progress is being made. Ms. Janizek, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I actually missed my last appointment on the 26th, and that was because I thought that I had my kids' therapy appointments at a later date. And so they actually had their CMH appointments the same day that I had my last one scheduled. And we already got it rescheduled. If I remember correctly, it is the 7th this coming up week at 9 a.m. It's been a little hard for me to reach out to them because they are kind of off on their own schedules. And right now, every time I have tried to reschedule, it's been usually later, aka before I go into work. But we've been trying to get me in as soon as possible since then.
All right. Here's all I'm going to say about that. Work is important, but let me say that your kids and getting off the court's docket probably is a little more important. And I get it that you want to stay on the good graces of your employer, but they really can't expect you to work 6 days a week. So there may be a part of a day or a few hours that you need to take off to get these other things done. So let me encourage you to do that on a higher priority than just saying, well, I've got to go to work. Your kids need this. You, quite frankly, need this to get done. And the court is pleased with the way that you're trying to do that, but just keep Ms. Delaney in the loop. Keep this as your highest priority. And I think doing those two things, everything will work out as well as it possibly can in the future. So having said all that, I look forward to and getting off the court's probation. All right, thank you. That's all for today. This is the state of Michigan involving Rebellion Frost, file J25-303-NA. If I could have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, please, starting with Mr. Harris.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Dan Harris on behalf of Jovetta Topol.
Thank you. Mr. Delaney.
David Delaney, counsel for Jessica Frost.
Thank you. Ms. Hansel.
Donna Hansel on behalf of minor child, Reblin.
All right. I have received a recent email from Mr. Delaney indicating that his client is going to be unable to proceed due to pregnancy issues and due date very soon, and a letter from a doctor indicating she is unable to travel due to the pregnancy. Is that correct, Mr. Delaney?
That is correct. Of course, I would prefer my client advise me that she was pregnant, which I did not know of. But to elaborate, in communicating with her, she thought she had to appear. And I said to her, if you have this baby tomorrow, she said, well, I'll bring the baby to court and I'll have to feed the baby. I said, well, that's not going to work. So at least she was showing respect for the court system, but probably didn't appreciate that under these circumstances, the court would adjourn. So she was sincere, probably to a fault.
All right. I appreciate that explanation. How long do you anticipate we need to bump this out before we can reasonably proceed?
That's a very good question. I think that moms with technology and medical assistance are recovering faster than they did maybe many years ago. But I would think at the earliest mid-May, June, perhaps June is a safe harbor for that. My kids are a lot older now, so I have forgotten how long it takes for moms to get and the baby to be ready to be separated from mom. But I think June would be a safe harbor unless the other parties have insight.
I'll hear from the other parties in just a minute. My thought on the matter is that we have a status conference sometime in early May to see where the child is, how mom is doing. If there are complications, obviously we're going to need to know about that. If things are proceeding well, I need to know whether mom is going to be feeding the child regularly, or if mom has got other arrangements made to go back to work and daycare and all of that kind of stuff, or if grandma or grandpa could be substituted in for a day while mom would be able to make the hearings. Other counsel have any thoughts on that matter?
Your Honor, I would just say that I know that my clients would like a resolution on this, and they've been waiting a long time, and it creates somewhat of a disruption for Revelyn, and the mom has said, I think this is her sixth child. She hasn't appeared or tried to have any contact. I mean, we wouldn't be opposed to her appearing by Zoom. She wants to get it taken care of. But as soon as possible. I understand. I read the letter. I see, what position we're in, but I would just reiterate that they were really hoping to get this done and behind them next week.
And I certainly appreciate that. I'm also required to make sure that everybody has the equal opportunity. So I know that you appreciate that as well.
I do.
So in fairness to everybody, I think I do need to adjourn. If I were to keep this on and she were to have a cesarean section or some other complications, it's just going to make life difficult for everybody unnecessarily. So rather than attempt to push it through under those circumstances, I think we're going to err on the side of caution, let mom have a little break from the stress, if you will, of the court system, even though it might add to others. I don't think she needs it at this time while she's having a child. So we'll adjourn the trial set for April the 6th and April the 7th. Let me speak to the attorneys for a minute before we close the case, though. If we're going to have a trial, I need to have a status conference ahead of time. And at that status conference, I want to see proposed jury instructions that the parties have agreed upon. I want to make sure that we have no outstanding evidentiary issues. I want to see witness and exhibit lists that have been exchanged. And I don't have that documentation currently. So I'm going to set a hearing date in early May. You'll get notice of that, and I'm going to treat that as that date for all of that to occur. And then once we get there, excuse me, if something does come up, we will have a little bit of time to also take care of any loose ends. But I'll anticipate setting a jury trial date at that next court hearing. But I would like to have the attorneys be well on their way towards having everything. I want everything prepared for that next court hearing. So I want the jury instructions in the court file so I can have a chance to go over them, make sure that nothing's been forgotten. I want to see the witness and exhibit lists exchanged. And I want to see any evidentiary issues that are anticipated, briefed, and noticed up for hearing at that next court date. Any questions that the attorneys have?
I did reach out to your office because I took this case over from a different attorney in my office. And so I did reach out and ask about the jury instructions. I did prepare a draft of all of the jury instructions and the verdict form, which I do have that. So I will circulate that to Mr. Delaney and Ms. Hansel. And I'm sure that we can agree on, the verdict form and anything else. So I do have that done.
Thank you. That sounds good, Mr. Harris. I'll look forward to receiving that from you. Is there anything else we can do today, counsel?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we'll send out the notices for the status conference in May. Mr. Delaney, please let your client know that we wish her well on the baby and health. And then I'll see everybody in early May.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. That's all for today. Court will call the matter of the state of Michigan involving Lydia Alexander, file J22-122-NA. If I can have the appearances of counsel, starting with Mr. Sommerfeld.
Don Sommerfeld for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Mr. Delaney.
David Delaney for Father Tyler Pickering, who is present via Zoom.
Thank you. Ms. Hansel. I'm sorry, you're on mute, Ms. Hansel.
I'm sorry. That just automatically happens, I think. Donna Hansel on behalf of Lydia Alexander.
Thank you. All right, I do see Ms. Rice from the department is with us as well. Mr. Sommerfeld is with me in the courtroom because he had some internet issues earlier today. We are here for a review hearing. I have received a copy of the court report from the Department of Health and Human Services filed by Mr. Solis on March 19th, reviewed by Ms. Benzu on March 20th. I've also received a psychological evaluation regarding Lydia Alexander from Mr. Strauss, which is dated January the 19th, 2026. Mr. Sommerfeld, are there any other documents that I should be considering?
No, Judge.
Any objections to their admission for review by the court?
No
No
objection.
No.
All right, those will be admitted. I want to note Mr. Pickering is present today. The court didn't know exactly which address to use for him. Mr. Pickering, could you tell us the address that you want us to use for notices in the future?
526 North Lake Street, Lot 47, Boyne City, Michigan, 49712.
All right, thank you. I think we actually sent out two different ones, so we weren't really sure which one was going to get to you, but we're glad that you're here and present with us. So in the future, we'll use the one that you just gave us.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Sommerfeld, a witness for me today?
Yes, I'd like to call Ashley Rice from the department.
Ms. Rice, would you raise your hand so I can swear you in? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you very much. Your witness, Mr. Sommerfeld.
Thank you. Ms. Rice, can you state your name, please, and spell your last name?
Yes, name is Ashley Rice, R-I-C-E.
And how are you employed?
I am a foster care case manager with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services out of Otsego County.
Okay, and are you the new foster care worker for Lydia Alexander?
Yes, I am.
And the documents that were submitted today, I know you didn't necessarily author the court report and did not psychological, but are you familiar with those documents?
I am familiar with them, yes.
Okay, great. How long have you been the new worker on this case for Lydia?
We completed the case transfer on March 20th, so just over a week.
All right, and would you, when I look at Mr. Solis's report in relationship to Lydia, sounds like she's doing well in placement. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I have met with Lydia in her placement, and she is doing great, and the foster parents also report that she is doing wonderful.
Okay, and then you've also, when you do a case transfer, isn't that a meeting between the prior worker, the new worker, you, and also a supervisor?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and so you, at that time, the case transfer, you discuss like where the case is at this time?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so anything that I know the psychological from Lydia also includes, there's a recommendation to get an evaluation of dad for purposes of the feasibility of reunification. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and the report indicates that Mr. Pickering may have recently attended a psychological evaluation. Did he do that?
To my knowledge, yes, it was scheduled for March 23rd. I am remiss. I have not talked to Mr. Pickering myself, so I have not confirmed if he actually attended that appointment or not.
Okay, and then will you be conferring with Mr. Tim Strauss regarding his conclusions when, as it relates to Lydia's psychological, dad's psychological, and his conclusions regarding the feasibility of reunification?
Yes, once I receive Mr. Pickering's evaluation, I will touch base with the facility, Joy Valley, to discuss the results and recommendations moving forward.
Okay, does Lydia, does she need anything from the court that's outstanding, that perhaps the court could issue an order to help you out with something?
At this time, I don't believe so with my limited knowledge of the case at the moment. I believe that she is doing good and I'm not aware of anything that the court would need to order for her at this time.
When you said that you met with Lydia, was that where she resides in foster care?
Yes,
And did you observe her living conditions?
I did.
And how did you view her living conditions as, for purposes, were they adequate?
They were. The home was clean, neat, and tidy, appropriate. I observed her bed. She has plenty of clothes, sheets, blankets, pillows. She even has her own playroom that she was very insistent that she show me all of her dolls. So she has a plethora of toys and things to do.
Okay, and were you able to, I know you had limited contact. Did you see Lydia interact with her foster parents?
I have, yes.
Okay, and how would you describe that?
Lydia is very bonded with her foster mom. I've seen limited interaction with foster dad, although the interactions I have seen, they appear very bonded as well. But most of my interactions have been with Lydia and foster mom. They are very well bonded. Lydia respects her and often listens to her when given direction, as much as any, child of her age does. But yes, she is very comfortable in her foster home.
All right, good. I'd like to talk about Dad now. And again, I know you have limited knowledge, personal knowledge, but you do have also the benefit of the case transfer meeting and review of the file. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. The report indicates that Mr. Pickering, he had some extensive repairs to a house. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I believe that was in regards to the roof being repaired.
Yes, and my question is because there was an issue of two addresses, is the house that has some issues with a roof repair, is that the address that Mr. Pickering identified to the court, or is that from a previous house that has these problems?
I believe that is a previous house. If recollection is correct, that was the home in Kalkaska. And he just provided a Boyne City address. So I believe those would be different houses.
Okay, and so you have not yet been able to go to the Boyne City house?
Yes, that is correct. I intend to schedule a home visit with Mr. Pickering as soon as we're both able.
Okay. There was is Mr. Pickering, is he still involved in a relationship? I believe that came up at earlier hearings.
Based on my case transfer meeting with Mr. Solis, I believe they are still in a relationship. And that was as of March 20th. I am not sure if anything has changed since then, though.
Okay. And then is Mr. Pickering, do you know if he is employed at this time?
I believe he is not, but was looking for employment.
Okay, and so is it also a fair statement that Mr. Pickering is engaging in services for the purposes of reunification?
Yes, based on my review of the case as well as my case transfer meeting with Mr. Solis, it appears that Mr. Pickering is engaging in the services that he is able to engage in at this time.
Okay, and then there was a statement in the report regarding a one-time usage of marijuana, and he questioned if he should do that. Do you know anything about that, or did that issue come up during your case transfer meeting?
We did discuss that. Mr. Pickering submitted to a screening that was positive for marijuana. He had a conversation with Mr. Solis about ceasing use, to which Mr. Pickering advised that he would refrain from using marijuana moving forward.
Okay, so does Mr. Pickering have any identified barriers that, maybe, we're here today, the court can order things. Are there things that are potentially limiting his ability to participate in reasonable efforts for the purposes of reunification?
Not to the best of my knowledge at this point. We are mainly just waiting on that assessment from Joy Valley to be able to really gauge what he needs further from us to help with the reunification process.
Have you had personal contact with Mr. Pickering?
I have not. And I will state that is to no fault of Mr. Pickering. I will own that. I have not reached out to him, and I'm not sure if he has my contact information, but I do intend on reaching out to him today to provide that to him.
Okay, and then when this matter is before the court again in about 90 days, at that time you will have information about his new residence and be much more personally involved in your position of providing, referring reasonable efforts.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and the recommendation number 2 has to do with continuing the recommendations in the prior parent agency treatment plan.
Yes, that is correct.
Are there any modifications that you would like to make at this time?
I do not have any modifications at this time, no.
Okay, and Mr. Pickering, he has not been having contact with Lydia?
That is correct. Based on the assessment, Lydia's assessment from Joy Valley, it was recommended that an assessment, a psychological assessment be completed for Mr. Pickering prior to any contact with Lydia.
Okay, did the report indicate or like state a reason why that, taking rather a cautious approach?
It is based on Lydia's attachment style at this time, and they're not having a bond. We're concerned that it may disrupt Lydia more than benefit her at this time. And so the purpose of the assessment for Mr. Pickering is to evaluate if there is even any hope for reunification with Lydia at this time.
Okay, the history of this case is Mr. Pickering, prior to this case, has had contact that we could describe as maybe in terms of minutes or something like that with Lydia?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right, so we're asking to continue the goal of reunification
That is correct.
and adopt the goals from the parent agency treatment plan. This is the 10/14/2025 through 1/10 of 2026.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and then when we get the results of the psychological evaluation and the compatibility or ability to reunify, that'll be the next tool or diagnostic that we'll be looking for that will kind of guide this case.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Delaney?
Only briefly, I think that this has been asked of you in a roundabout way, but since Tyler is here, of course, anything, we're waiting for a few things, but is there anything Tyler can be doing that he's not already doing?
Not at this time. We do need to set up, I know Mr. Solis was in the process of setting up a courtesy worker to do random forensic fluid screenings for Mr. Pickering. But with his address change, we might have to reevaluate that to ask for a courtesy from a different county. But I will touch base with Mr. Pickering on that.
Thank you.
Ms. Hansel, your questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right. I also have no questions. Thank you, Ms. Rice. Appreciate your assistance and welcome to the team here in Otsego County. Mr. Sommerfeld, any additional witnesses or evidence?
No, thank you.
Mr. Delaney, any additional witnesses or evidence?
Possibly. Tyler, is there anything you want the court to know that the court doesn't know? You're working on a house, you're trying to get a job, anything? If not, you're not required to testify, but certainly the direct dialogue with the court, I think, is good. You've already had a lot of that already. So anything we've missed?
The address situation, that is my mailing address. I haven't gotten to actually set up a PO box yet. So that's just a way that I can actually get my mail. But my address is still the one in Kalkaska. I am working on the house. She has her own room. Everything that I've been trying to do, I think I'm doing right. So I'm hoping I'm doing everything right.
It's
Other
always
than
been Kalkaska's been your address when you were in jail on this, and of course now you're out. So will it be is it this place in Kalkaska that you're working on?
yes, the Rice Road address.
Okay. Do you own that property?
No, I'm renting it, but the house is pretty in rough shape, so I'm trying to get it souped up and very
Okay.
well livable enough for Lydia.
So it's Boyne, your mailing address, or you're living?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you living in Boyne City?
No, I live
Okay.
at the Rice Road,
Okay. And so
Kalkaska.
your understanding that the department will look at the house. It's got to be kid safe. It's got to be a good place to
Yep.
live.
Yep.
Okay. And then you're looking for work.
Yes, sir.
What's your background? What kind of work do you do?
I'm actually a construction and mechanic. I might be going back to the scrapyard, but they laid me off. The week I got out, I found that out the day I got out. I was planning on going back to work, but they laid me off from there. So I've been just doing a bunch of applications and have a couple interviews for restaurants and stuff, which is not ideal, but
Okay.
it's a
And
job.
spring is upon us, so maybe that will open up a few more doors.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
Hopefully by the time I actually get to bring Lydia around, I will be out of this house and I won't have to deal with anything. But
all right. Okay. Anything else that we haven't covered that you want us to know about?
I think that'll do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Delaney. Ms. Hansel, any witnesses or evidence?
No, thank you.
All right, closing statements, Mr. Sommerfeld.
Before that, Judge, could I ask Mr. Pickering a few questions?
Certainly.
Thank you. Mr. Pickering, I'm unclear because you kept talking about you have this Boyne City address, but you're living in Kalkaska, and then sometimes you were saying, I hope I'll be out of this house by then. I'm just kind of confused, so I just want to get it straight. So you are living in Kalkaska County, Michigan?
Yes, I live in Kalkaska County on Rice Road.
Okay, that's the house that you're fixing up right now that you want Lydia to go to, if there is reunification.
Yes.
Okay, and so the Boyne City address is why is that? Is that somebody you know there that can
That
get
is
you?
a family member. Yes.
Okay, and that's because you haven't set up a P.O. box around the Kalkaska County area.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
All right, closing statement, Mr. Sommerfeld.
Yes, Judge, I'd ask the court to continue the goal of reunification for purposes of this case. Lydia reports indicate that she's doing well in her placement. That's always a good thing to hear. Foster care is not a usual situation for children. So with that being the case, it's good to hear that Lydia is in a good spot. I'm glad that we have a professional, Mr. Strauss. He's made these evaluations before between he looks at everything objectively to see if there's an opportunity for reunification that would be realistic because Mr. Pickering, he wants to be involved, but historically he has not. So he has that opportunity now, and I hope and await the results so that we can take measures here that hopefully will be in Mr. Pickering's interest to reunify with Lydia.
Thank you. Mr. Delaney.
Briefly, I agree with the state's position. Tyler has an opportunity here. When we met him, he was in jail. He is not in jail. So he has a lot of things in his control. And I'm sure he's aware of this. He needs to put Lydia first all the time. Everything he does now is about restoring his relationship with Lydia. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Hansel, your comments?
Yes, Your Honor. I had contact with the foster family last night. They are on a dolphin cruise for spring break. Lydia appears happy and healthy, having a great spring break with her foster family, and there is a very strong bond there. So I do wish Mr. Pickering all the luck, and I do hope that whatever ends up happening in the end is in Lydia's best interest. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. I appreciate the time and effort. It does appear that Mr. Pickering is doing what he needs to do, and I'd ask him to continue to do that. It does appear that Lydia is doing as well as she can and is bonding well with the foster family, which is always good to hear, that she is progressing well there. We will adopt the recommendations and await the psychological evaluation from Mr. Strauss and his recommendations after that as to what we should do, and then we'll have a hearing on it and decide where we go from there. So in the meantime, the court will continue the goal of reunification. The court will order that Lydia remain a temporary ward of the court, referred to MDHHS for placement care and supervision, that she will remain in placement with foster care as she is bonded there. Court order services for Mr. Pickering in the parent agency treatment plan will continue. And he will comply with those and demonstrate benefit from all of those, and he will comply with the psychological evaluation with Mr. Strauss that is either has already been done, or if anything else is needed from Mr. Strauss, Mr. Pickering will comply with that as well. The department will have the discretion to initiate or delay contact and or parenting time based on the recommendations from Mr. Strauss as to the psychological evaluation, and pending any further court hearing on that issue. We'll set a review hearing in approximately 91 days. Mr. Sommerfeld, any additional orders that you request?
No, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Delaney, same question.
No, thank you.
Ms. Hansel, anything else?
No, sir.
All right, that will be the order of the court. Good luck to you, Mr. Pickering, and I look forward to hearing good things about you in the future. All right, court will be in recess.